Welcome to Tabletop Simulator. This is Dr. Obsidia. I'm going to be playing a game that is a mod on their workshop called Kingdom Death Monster by Mr. Slack. This game is actually an actual board game. You can purchase it if you search in Google for Kingdom Death Monster. It's a very expensive board game, something you might want to think about buying if you're interested in this genre, or it's a horror genre, or if you're interested in something to play as a co-op against the board. You can play it single player, which is what I'm going to be doing, but you can play with up to 4 players, and you can see each one has a card here. This is a campaign with a lot of boss fights and a settlement phase, and also a hunt phase. The overall goal of this is just to survive in this dark world, and you're not even sure how you got here or what's going on, and you have to finally get your settlement to thrive and survive through innovations, through trying to have children, and going on these epic yearly hunts each lantern year. In this game, you have a core book right here and a bunch of expansions that it adds to, and it's scripted fairly well. So I'm sure that Mr. Slack is going to keep adding to the script, but overall it works well. Not everything is perfect. There's some bugs here and there. And one of the major things to remember about this game is that it is an actual board game. So if you are interested, it is one of those games that you would probably keep forever. If you're interested in that kind of thing. And Tabletop Simulator is a great way to kind of be introduced to this, but I would say nothing actually beats getting together with your friends, letting the dice hit the table. And this is one of those games that's, if you're interested in painting, heavily invested in board games or anything like that, this might be something that you would want to keep on your shelf. It has a lot of cards, it has a lot of minis and a lot of dice, but just the depth of this game is incredible. So this is just a taste of what it could be like, I think, if you would consider buying it for yourself. Now, of course, you could play it virtually, and since we are in the COVID-19 crisis, this is something that you might be interested in doing. However, he has the person who has created this game has run successful Kickstarters time and again, and this is version 1.5 of this game, and I would keep an eye on that future, as well as he's probably going to be doing other projects, or who knows what, maybe he will be expanding on this. And you can see there's quite a few expansions here, and I don't think that this is all the ones that are out either. I think there's still more coming out, so keep an eye on this game if you're interested, and it'd be something that you would definitely want to invest in if you have the shelf space. It does take up a lot of space on your shelf. Now this script makes things a lot easier, the scripted mod. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, the mod makes it much simpler and helps you to avoid making too many mistakes. Plus, since it has so many rules, it's difficult to not make mistakes. So even though I'm playing this, I'm not by any way an expert at this game. I have watched a whole lot of gaming videos and so on to see how to use this mod. I practiced with it to see how it works and overall to understand overall how it functions. So I think I can do pretty well with it. And yeah, the background music, by the way, is all free and free use through YouTube. A lot of it is from a creator called Jesse Gallagher, if you're interested in it. Okay, well, first of all, we'll start with the story here, and we'll set the scene. It says here, once upon a time there was a place of carved stone faces. A man with a lantern lay sleeping in a dreamless sleep. The man knew nothing. One day the man woke up. He rubbed the dried ink caked over his eyes and opened them. Around him he saw other people stirring, and beyond a horizon of unbroken darkness. A woman approached the man with the lantern. Her soft hand reached out to him. They had no words. They were a mystery to each other. Suddenly, a monster emerged from the dark, its eyes wild with hunger. It attacked. The people were no match for the monster. It tore their flesh and crushed their bones between its teeth. Some it devoured whole. Overcome with terror and grief, the man with the lantern collapsed to the ground. Cold stone noses pushed into his side. There was no escape. But the man did not want to die. Desperately grasping at the cold stone faces, he felt a crack and tore at it with all his might. A piece of stone came free. It was sharp and deadly. The man with the lantern scrambled to his feet, his weapon clenched in his fist. He took a deep breath and roared into the darkness. Somewhere in the place of stone faces, nameless men and women stand together. There is nothing but a need to survive and a lantern to light their struggle. And then we get into how to play and the overall fight. One thing you'll notice is the art for this is quite interesting. And it is a little bit of the mature level, so pardon if anything is offensive. It is a horror genre, so expect some pretty gruesome story here. And as you can see here, we've got our survivors. They don't have any names. They are the nameless ones. But we can give them a name to give them a survival point. The survival points, I will explain this game as much as I can, by the way, but there's so much to it that I'm going to be breezing over everything so fast that it's going to be near useless if you just try to jump in. So I will try to explain what I'm doing, and hopefully you'll catch on as we go as well. You'll use the survival to do actions as well as things during the settlement phase and the hunt phase as well. One of those actions that you have to start off with is dodge. You can dodge one attack and you'll spend your survival. So if I have one survival here, I'll just flip the dodge to exhausted and then burn the survival there, and then I have 0. And on the next turn that dodge will flip back, but I cannot do it anymore because I have 0 survival. So right now I have 0 of pretty much everything, except on each person I have this founding stone, and you can see that as I zoom in on it. The founding stone here is a weapon. It's a melee. It's just a stone, and you can see in the upper corner here the 2. That is how many dice you throw for this weapon. The 7 is the number that you have to hit on a 10-sided dice to strike the target, and a 1 is the strength bonus that you get to wound it. And also you can use this as an activation. That lightning bolt means activation. You can sling this stone from anywhere on the board for an automatic critical hit, and it inflicts a critical wound, but then you archive it, which means you throw the card away and it's gone forever. There are some ways to get founding stones back, but they are a one-time use if you throw them and they're gone, and you only start off with 4, and that's pretty much all you get unless you get some event that might occasionally give you more. Now before I start, there's some maintenance that has to be done here. One of the things is these dice, they don't exactly roll quite well. So one of the things I always do with the dice is change their mass. Their mass is 1.125, and I just change it to a flat 1, which is kind of the default, I would think. I leave the other things the same except for the material. I like a little bit of bounciness to it, and these are kind of weighted heavily. So if you put a 6, it does have a little bit of a roll to it. And then I can apply that. Now I do that to all the dice on here, and I will bring out more dice as well. So you can see I have the different color sets here, and I've got the monster dice over here, I've got dice over here, and I've got dice bags that I can pull out of up here, and some down here and here. So I'm going to be fixing all of those dice here, and then you'll know what they have for the settings that I use, but of course you can use whatever you want. Okay, I've adjusted all the dice so that they are all fairly bouncy. And if I roll them, I just hit the R here and it'll roll, so that makes it pretty fair. Skull is a 1 that's always, well, generally a bad thing, and lantern is the best thing. Oh, look at that, I hit the lantern. So those are the best things to hit there. You can hit the roll, you can pick them up and just hit the R button to roll them. If you know Tabletop Simulator, you can also shake them and throw them, but I don't tend to do that because, you see, they come up snake eyes. You can actually knock your minis over and things with them and stuff, so that's never a good thing. So I tend to just toss them in the air right where they're at. I do use a wound die, and I clone that and pop it right over there so that I have one that I can roll when I wound that's nearby. Alright, we got to give these guys some names so that they at least have a survival point, so that they start off with some survival here. So let me throw some names on these guys. Alright, their names are not too important, but I have named them. Brick for the red colored, orange colored guy, Shella for the green, Hope, because we're in big trouble here, for the bluish gray, and the gray white is Andros. You can see they do have their own minis, and they are already named. And you can switch them up by just pulling off of this infinite mini pile. And when you do, you can drop them right on top of the circle that will link them to their card. Alright, so we'll pop open our battle UI here, and this gives us the layout. We've got the founding stones. I'm going to get rid of the fist and tooth because we're not going to be attacked with that almost always the founding stone here. See, we throw 2 dice with an accuracy. We need to roll a 7 or higher. And then to wound, we need a 5 or higher. And to crit, we can roll a lantern 10 only to crit with these guys. They don't have any armor except for their waistcloth here, which just protects 1 hit point there. Other than that, they are going to probably get torn apart by this lion pretty fast. The good news is this lion only has a toughness of 6 compared to the standard one. It's the Prologue lion. The standard one has a toughness of 8, so it's even harder to hit. Alright, the lion always goes first, and he's looking right at us, so we're going to deal with that as time comes. First card that we're going to draw here is face up. And the reason for that is, in the Prologue, you're supposed to start with this. So this is just a basic attack here. Well, it's got its basic attack right there, but this is just a standard basic card from the basic deck. They have basic, advanced, and legendary, and you can see that when you start with the first story level 1 lion, it's the very top part of that card there, and then level 1, level 2, and then level 3 lion there as well, and they get some buffs as they go, so they get stronger and stronger as they go. Alright, so here, as we drew this card, first thing it does is pick a target. Closest threat is anybody that is a threat in front of it, not in its blind spot, not hiding or not hiding behind an obstacle or something, and that's all of them. And facing, it's facing all of us, and in range, which we're all in range. Pick the mini up, and you can see that it is in range of us all. But it's going to pick anyone we want, and I think we'll just go for Andros here, and then we'll move him and rotate him towards to face Andros, and then the speed is 2, which means 2 dice, accuracy 2+ means he hits on a 2 or higher, and damage is 1. So we'll go ahead and roll the 2 dice there. And, oh, almost had a miss, but we got 2 hits as expected. And the location is body and head. Well, the head's a bad thing, because he doesn't have any armor there. So his body takes a light wound, because he has no armor, and head takes a heavy wound, and a heavy wound means he will be flipped over. Which means he basically got knocked down. So now it's our turn. Since that's done, you'll notice there's a little down arrow here, and that's a time that we can dash away or do something. If he targets us, we can actually turn and run from him, and he'll chase the person that he's targeted, but he can't catch up to them if we run. But we don't have that ability yet, so that is an interrupt that you can spend your interrupts in. Alright, so Andros is down. He is no longer a threat, but he's still a survivor, and he's still in the facing range. So this card talked about the threat. Well, it's not going to hit him. Alright, so it's now our turn. Andros here has to wait until the next lion's turn ends before he can stand up again. Well, the first thing here is Brick, I think. Our noble Brick character. He is going to take a swing at the lion's rear. The lion has a blind spot in these 2 squares behind him, so he gets a +1 to hit. So he should hit on a 7, but he's actually going to hit on a 6. We'll roll those and see what we got. And a miss and a miss. And then he's going to move out of the way to let the others come in. And then Shella will go 1, 2, 3, and she'll come up here, and she will roll. By the way, I can snooze Brick and Andros. Shella will roll. And she got 1 perfect hit and 1 miss. So when you get a hit, you draw this card. Of course, these I'm going to shuffle now. And it's a strange hand. The first is the reaction failure. So if I fail to hit, now I need to wound on a 5 or higher. So let me roll that and see what happens. Hey, and I got a lantern. So that is a critical hit. And you can see here, failure means reaction. It would have performed a basic attack against me, but he failed against Shella, I guess. But I scored a crit, so I don't just wound, I crit. So the first thing I'm going to do is move a card from the AI deck to the wound stack, and that's gone. That's his life. If he runs out of cards in his AI and AI deck and discard, then he only has his basic attack, hit him 1 more time, and he's dead. But this has another effect too. You hack off the monster's hand, spend 1 survival to treasure this moment, and gain 1 permanent strength. Wow, so Shella can spend her survival right now and gain 1 permanent strength. And she's going to do that. Hopefully she lives through this. Alright. And gain 1 permanent strength. Persistent injury, lost hands, so this is going to be kept in play. So we slide this up there. And now any AI card that talks about using his hand is now, it's going to say what happens if he doesn't have his hand, because he now lost his hand. So that was a great start to the game. So Shella is done. All right. Hope is going to run up here and take her swing. And you see I'm just rolling the same colored dice to keep it organized here. And she's got 2 hits. Now 1 hit is going to hit because he needs a 7, but the 6 is a miss, but because she's in the blind spot, she can still hit. So she's going to draw 1 hit location, 2 hit locations. All right, so here we have 2 hit locations. And you can choose which one you want to swing at first. This one is a reflex fail, and this one's a reaction reflex. This one's a reaction fail. If a fail moves in a straight line and will run over Andros here, and it says anyone it passes over suffers 1 damage per monster level and gets grabbed and taken with it. And this one is going to do the same thing. Even if I hit or miss, it's going to do the same thing. So we're going after the failure first, because we hit, it's going to stay here and we can take another swing at it. And I rolled a 5, and a 5 is good enough to hit, so that will be discarded, and we'll move 1 card over. 1 more attack. 3 is a miss, and it's going to do its reflex anyway. So it's going to full move forward all the way up here. Move these dice up. And it's going to bring Andros with him. And it's going to do 1 damage to Andros in his hand. So we go to Andros here, his arms, and he's going to take a light wound on his arms there. All right. So hope is done. Now it's the next turn. Okay. Next card's up. Maul. This is a bad one. The victim of grab last round. Looks like he's going to terrorize our buddy here on the ground. 2 speed, 2 accuracy, and it's going to do a bunch of damage to him, so he may be in big trouble here. 2 hits, 3 damage, and also there's after effects as well. 2 hits. Let's see where those hits go. Body and arms. So his body and arms both are going to suffer that. I think we'll probably dodge one of them. He's going to get a bleed token, so we're going to go ahead and grab a bleed token and drop that on his temporary tokens. If you get 5 of those, you're dead. Okay. And then he's bashed, which means he's knocked down, but he's already knocked down, so it doesn't apply. He's going to take 3 damage to his arms and body. Now, I think he's going to dodge the one to the body, since that's a little more critical. His arms, he's going to take 1, and then it's going to go over his heavy wounds. It's going to be 2, 3, and that means we have to roll once on the table here, because that was just 1 attack for his arms. This is the severe injury table, so let's roll that. Hopefully we roll high, and we rolled a 6. So here's here a contracture. The arm will never be the same. Suffer -1 permanent accuracy. This injury is permanent, and it can be recorded multiple times. Gain 1 bleed token. So he's going to get another bleed. And -1 permanent accuracy. I think that was it. So it might be in the severe wounds deck, the severe injuries decks, contraction. Yeah, contracture here. And just to know that he got it, I'm going to clone this card or copy and paste it. Drop the other card there to keep the deck sustained here. And I'm going to drop that on his impairment, so we can always see that he has this contracture injury on his arm. It's permanent. So that's unfortunate. Okay. And that will reflect right here in his UI. You can see it's now gone up by giving him that -1 to his accuracy. All right, the lion is now finished, even though we dodged 1. So Andros will now stand up because he was knocked down before, and this is now the end of the turn. No one else can get to the lion, unfortunately. So Andros is going to have to run behind him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 5 move, so he's going to run there. And with his now 8 accuracy, but 7 because he's behind him, he's going to swing and get 1 hit. And it's the beast's femur. This blow lands on the monster's leg. No problem. So we're going to swing. We need a 5. We missed. And that's the end of that card. All right, so the other ones will come back. Shella, I would like to keep a little bit safer, so let's get her over here. All right. And they're done. So next turn. Monster will chomp. Closest threat facing. There is no one facing in front of him. Closest threat in field of view. Well, the blind spot is not field of view, but Brick is the closest in field of view. So he will turn, and he could run over our buddy, but we'll make him run around. If he runs him over, he gets knocked down. And this targets his head all the time. 1 damage to the head location. So we roll 1 die. Accuracy 2+. There is a hit. And it does 1 damage to his head. We don't have to roll the location. So Brick is going to take 1 to the head and get knocked flat. It could dodge it, but it's not doing anything else. All right. Let's see here. Hope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She can't get behind. I would like to get Shella out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4. So she'll go here. With her improved strength, she will roll. No hits because she needs a 7. So Shella is done. Brick is done. I think Andros is going to go behind and try again. He needs 7s to hit. There's 2 hits. 1 is perfect. And this is a trap. So when you pull the trap, everything stops. And the attacker is doomed. Means he's going to be attacked. Perform a basic attack against him. All hits are canceled. You then pick this up and rotate that through the deck with a shuffle. The line will turn to face our friend here. And the basic attack is right here. 2 speed, 2 accuracy, and 1 damage. 2 hits. Body, body. So he's going to take 2 blows to his body. He can take 1, and then the other one's going to go through. And that's going to be rolled on the body table here. Our old buddy Andros is taking a huge beating. 8. Broken ribs. Hurts to breathe. Suffer -1 permanent speed. And gain a bleed. Now he's starting to bleed a lot. And he's taking permanent speed. Which means that he can't attack with all the dice. Now he's only rolling 1 die. Dig out this injury. Rib. Broken rib. Flip it. Copy, paste it. And drop it back in there to maintain the deck. And now he has some pretty serious injuries. And he may not want to be involved in fighting too much anymore. He's still alive, though. So he's just getting chewed on by this lion over and over again. Okay. Andros is now done. That's the trap. And again, I shuffle it because the trap is in there. Now, Hope is last, but she can get up behind this guy and swing. 6 to hit. And that's cocked die, but you can mouse over. It says 5, so she misses everything. So Hope is done. Next turn, Lion draws a card. Now he gets enraged. Enraged is a mood. While enraged is in play, he gains a +1 damage per token per monster level. So we're going to grab a +1 token here, damage, and drop it on here. It means he does 1 more damage with every hit. That's dangerous. When a survivor is dismembered or killed, we discard it back into the deck here. And then he'll draw it again in the future. Also, he draws an AI card when this comes in play. Size up. Random threat in field of view. The only threat that's in his field of view is Shella. So he's going to rotate towards her because Hope is in the blind spot and the others are prone. And he is going to stare at her. So we roll a d10 and a 4+. She's going to suffer brain trauma. And hey, he missed. He rolled a 1. So that doesn't do anything. It doesn't even knock her down. That's good. Andros is up. Brick is up. And Shella is still standing there. Okay, our turn. Gotta be careful because this lion is much more powerful now. So let's get Hope in the back here. Come on, Hope. We need some 6s. There's 2 6s. That's exactly what it takes to hit. All right, a failure means a glorious main. Failure means you're going to run. The glorious main is impervious, means there's no wound if we hit this, but if we crit, we get a resource called the shimmering main. If the attacker is insane, we gain a strength token as well. So we just need to get a lantern here or, yeah, nothing. So hopefully we can wound on the beast's elbow, otherwise he's going to run over Shella here. And we don't, so he's going to run over Shella and drag her along for the ride. And knock her down. So she suffered grab. She took a body hit. Okay, Andros is not close enough, but Shella is down. Hope took her turn. Brick can come up and move behind. 2 hits, 9 and a lantern. The knee and the belly. The belly is a soft debilitating blow to the soft belly, no reaction, and the critical effect is pretty awesome. And the beast knee, just critical effect is reduce the move. We're going for the belly first. Miss, and now we're the knee. A 6 is good enough to wound. So we will dump a card. Now he's out of cards, so we're going to shuffle his deck there back in. Break is done. Andros will move up. And done. Alright. Now the monster's turn. Size up again. Random threat in field of view. That would be Andros. But it actually could be Hope. So we'll say evens is Andros, odds is Hope. It's going after Hope this time. 4+. Gonna target Hope. It hit her. So she's gonna take 1 brain damage and get knocked down. So we'll knock her down. And her brain is right here. She's got 1 box to prevent anything, but after that, she rolls on this brain trauma table, which could be technically very bad. Now that damage bonus does not apply to that brain damage thing. That's only for his attack profile. All right. He grabs Shella on the card there, and this is the end of the next turn, so she gets flipped up. Now, Shella has a increased chance to wound of 4 because of her new strength. So we're going to go ahead and let her take the first shot, even though Brick is kind of standing in the way in case he runs, but we definitely want Shella to get her licks in here. 1 hit. And of course he's going to run if she misses. She misses on a 4 or 3 or less. Hey, she hit. Good job, Shella. Alright. That means Brick is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step behind, and Brick is going to roll. Hits on 6s as well. He got 2 hits. Wounds on 5s. This one has a wound effect, and if he hits, he gets the priority token. It's going to come after him. Let's go for the femur first, since that has no effect. And we got a lantern. I flipped the die there by hitting F instead of R, and then I rolled the die and land a lantern. So I guess it was good to flip the die first. All right, the wound first, and then critical hit. You bruise him. He gains -1 movement token, so we'll grab a movement token here. Where's that at? And we will flip it over. Drop it in the tokens, and that'll adjust his move down to 5. Also, we gain a random white lion resource. So we'll shuffle the white lion resources, pull 1. We got the great cat bones. Copy that and just put this one over here for discard later. I keep the deck maintained just in case we hunt him again. And Shella got that one, didn't she? Oh, that was Brick. No, that was Brick. Shella is done. Okay. Cat bones, great cat bones. Nice. Okay, so that was the femur. Now we still have to roll on the flank, and it looks like we wounded there too. Now we're almost out of cards here. Now this wound gives the priority token, and here's the priority thing. Whenever he targets, he picks me, and that will be our old buddy Brick. Okay, he's done. So Andros will just step up here and swing, I think. Hope is down, so she can't do anything. He needs an 8 to hit. He didn't get it, so he's gonna be done. All right, next turn. All we have here is this one AI card, and it is size up. So that means he can't even use his damage bonus until he gets a basic action against us. So he's going to face a random threat, which is only 1 right now, Andros, and he's going to roll 4 or higher. He hits 1 brain, knocks down Andros, and he's done. Hope stands up. We'll get Brick into the blind spot again. He did so well last time. Don't want to be confused about this card. Here, put it over there. All right, that's a lantern perfect hit, and that's a 4, so it missed. This one, Oh, wait. That shouldn't have targeted Andros. That is a size up random threat. It always picks the guy we're targeting. So we can retcon that. Andros should still be up. He should have targeted Brick, and he would have hit Brick in the head and knocked Brick down. And Brick actually was up here. So this is how this should have ended. See, so you do make mistakes in this. There's just so many things going on. So he is knocked down with his brain damage. All right, so now we didn't get that wound then. Andros will run over here and try to hit instead. We'll give her back her brain too. Give her back her brain. Where did it go? Or sorry, Andros, get back his brain. All right. Andros, he's having a bad day. He missed all over the place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But Shella is here, and she is going to roll. And looks like she's having a bad day. No hits there. Get Hope up here. Shella, Hope, Andros, and Brick are all done. Next turn, he's going to size up again. Random threat in field of view. That is only Hope. So he's going to rotate on Hope. And here's his shot. 4+. Yep, he hits Hope. Hope already has no brain, so now we get to go down to the brain trauma. Alright, roll on this. D10. 7. Lunacy. She gains a random disorder and 1d5 insanity. So she's going to gain 2 insanity if we divide that in half. So insanity is like armor for your brain, but if you're 3, you're insane. This is a very dark world, so having some insanity, helps you to kind of figure out how to survive. You don't necessarily want to be sane, because if you see something terrible, you can actually endure it. All right, 1 disorder, random pull. Fear of the dark, which is probably going to be bad. We'll copy it, drop this back in so that we can shuffle it. Fear of the dark. You retire. If you gain this disorder during a hunt or showdown, you put on a brave face until you return to the settlement, vowing to never leave the Lantern Horde again. She will never go out from our settlement again. Hope despairs in the dark. Cannot bear the oppressive darkness any longer, so she will retire. And if I click retire, it fills up the whole hunt XP, so she shouldn't have that. But we'll click the skip next hunt. She's done. She's like done with this. She's a founder and she's done. All right, and she's prone. Okay, that's the end of the turn. So Brick will stand back up, and I think Shella is gonna go behind. She's our hitter right now, so we would like her to do the hitting if possible. She got 2 hits. All right, the fuzzy groin. You hit the monster right in the ding dong. Yep, we're going for that. And she missed. And this one, she suffers a brain and a basic attack if she hits it. And she missed, so that's probably a good thing. All right, next is Brick. Brick will roll. 1 hit. He wounds on a 5. Beast Temple. Come on, Brick. Oh, you missed. This is a basic action against the attacker, so he will turn on Brick and do the basic attack, which is 2 speed, 2 accuracy, and now 2 damage to each location. Could use a skull. All right, we got 1. Good. So Brick is going to take 2 damage to his head, and he has no head there, but he does have a survival and a dodge, so we're going to dodge that so that he doesn't get his head ripped off. All right. The monster is done. Whoop, we should be at the next turn. I forgot to do that. Hope will stand up. Let's see. I think Shella's going to run around behind again and swing. 6s to hit. She got nothing. Andros could take his swing. 7s to hit. He got 1 hit. A wound is going to be nothing special for him, I believe. And he did not wound, so it doesn't matter. He'll move out of the way to let Brick come down. Come on, Brick. We could use some 6s here. 1 hit. Failure is a basic action. Target the attacker. This attack does +2. That is 4 damage if we miss this. Oh, woo! That would have been bad. Okay, we hit. So that loses his last card. Brick, Shella, Andros have all gone, but Hope is going to try to end this fight and then retire on it. 7s to hit. She got 1. Okay, Beast heal. Need a 5 to wound. She missed. Alright. Next turn. The Beast no longer has any weapons. The White Lion is just going to use his basic attack against us now. So, basic attack is Survivor in field of view. In range. That would be either Andros or Hope. Since Hope is pretty much never coming out again, and Andros is really messed up at this point, both of them are somewhat useless to me. So let's go after Andros, I think. Actually, Hope has more armor, so let's go after Hope first. Let's go after her. 2 hits, 2 damage to each location. Body and legs. 1, 2. 1, 2. Both heavy wounds. She'll flip over. And now it's our turn. So Brick will go up here and swing. We just need to hit him once and this is over. And we got a hit. Of course we need a wound too. Failure means a basic attack, so we don't want any more of those. Hey! Rolled a 5. That is a wound. That means the monster is dead. Alright. When the monster's dead, some things happen, and we can see up here. We scavenge his corpse. We take 4 White Lion resources and 4 basic resources. Then we place them all on the table. We did not lose any survivors. And then we'll go on to create our new settlement. We also get Hunt XP. So everyone gets a Hunt XP. Brick, Shella, and then the people that don't matter very much, Hope and Andros, both get a Hunt XP. They're not totally useless. In the settlement, they'll still be able to do things. And Andros, even though he's got injuries and speed penalties and things, we could give him maybe a slow weapon with good accuracy, and it may offset that. But he's a candidate just to sit at home and take it easy, maybe have some kids, and bring our settlement back from the brink. All right, so the reason I pull this card out and don't reshuffle it in is because we don't want to keep drawing this card over and over again. In the actual board game, you'll record these cards over here, and then you'll redo the deck so that it's full again. We're going to copy these cards and paste them. Whoops, I didn't mean to paste the die. And then these cards will just go back in because we're done with them. We need 4 basic resources. I shuffled them. Shuffle them again. And copy those. Paste those. And these will go back in there. Alright, and then we can see what we got. Whoops. Okay, we got some white fur, some more bones, some sinew. We got a skull, and when you gain this, a survivor of your choice gains 1 insanity. We're going to give it to Shella. She needs a little protection. She's got that strength bonus. We've got a wild card here that's an organ, bone, or hide. We have no idea what it is. It could be used as anything. An organ, if we eat it, then we can contract a parasite, which is bad. And love juice, so we can do intimacy and have kids. So that's all good. All right. All these things will now be moved over to our settlement. Whoops. Grab them and just bring them over here and drop them in. Okay, and then you can keep reading through, and then it tells you what to do at the settlement phase. And of course, I grab an Endeavor token and bring it up here. We're at the setup now, and then the survivors are returning. So we have to heal them and remove any tokens, but do not remove the gear. The gear you don't lose. You can remove the survivor, but the gear will still stay. Okay, so here we're going to heal and rest. This is a nice feature of this mod. It gets rid of all the temporary tokens. It fixes every other stat except for the stuff that's permanent that we've already marked. We'll heal and rest all of our people. Now, they don't gain their survival back. That's an important thing to know. Okay, and then we've got the first day card right here. Okay. The first day card here says, yeah, as you can see, it says the first day settlement event will help you set up your settlement. Is the first day. I'm going to summarize this. The survivors wander, drawn to a blooming light in the distance. They find the serene comfort of a towering pile of lanterns and a small collection of scared people. On a deep instinctual level, they know this place is safe and they make it their home. They have to roll a d10. I'm going to copy one of these white dice down here. Bring it up here because we do need to roll those for events. And we roll a d10 and determine how many survivors we have. We may name the unnamed survivor and create a record sheet. But we don't have to name them. We can do that at any time during the settlement phase. Whoops. Roll it. We rolled a 5, and on a 5, we have 8 unnamed survivors plus the returning ones. So we'll close the battle UI, pop open the population, and add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And to help our survivors out, we're going to give them maybe 3 males and the rest females. There we go. Okay, nobody died, although we have a couple with some severe problems mentally. And then we need to do the returning survivors on the storyline. So we're going to pop open the timeline here, click Lantern Year 1, and our settlement name is, if we name this when it's first named, everybody gets +1 survival up to the limit of 1. So right now nobody has any survival. We're going to go ahead and name the settlement. Let's name it the Obsidian Tower. We also have our dodge action here. And we can also hunt the white lion too. Okay, and then when we do that, every survivor gets a +1. Except for the one who already has it. Okay. Next, if we keep following this down here, we need to gain endeavors. Might have jumped the gun a little bit there to update the timeline, but that's okay. Endeavors are these endeavor tokens. I usually drop them right here. We have 4 survivors returning, so we get 4 endeavors. We can spend those in the settlement phase. If we don't, we lose them. So we try to spend them every time. All right, back to this. We have the returning survivors here, and we can go through that story really quick. First words. Try to get the picture in here. You can see a little bit too. We nominate a survivor, and that survivor steps forward, gains +1 courage, and they learn to speak to each other. They learn the language. They're the first ones to talk, so they get +1 courage. We build our innovation deck. It's already been built. It tells you what to put in there. And armed with the knowledge, and aptly names the glowing center, the lantern horde. So we gain that location, and then they sit in front of the horde. They gain 1 understanding, but they lose the next hunt phase event, so they have to skip as they ponder the meaning of existence. All right, so somebody gets a courage and an understanding, but has to skip. So we could choose any here. Brick. Let's see. Choose any of our people. Let's see. Maybe we'll choose a new person. We'll name one of our people. Oh, okay. Let's let Shella do it, since she's got 1 strength. We'll give her 1 courage, 1 understanding, but she's gonna skip the next hunt because of that. So we can click that skip the next hunt and pack her up like that. And now she's packed. We're also going to pack up Hope and Andros because I'm not going to bring them anywhere. This keeps all their cards and their minis. Whoops, don't want to take the minis out. Keeps all their cards and their minis in a box. And you can just delete those if you want, because you can summon them again. No problem if you need. Okay. And after that, return to the first story to complete the settlement phase. And it says, this is not used again, do not include it in the settlement deck. So we're just going to put it off to the side. We may end up coming back to it someday, but right now we don't need it. So we've got these cards here. All right, now we're in the settlement itself. But before we do that, I think we do need to decide, since this is just the prologue, we need to set up our game permanently. So we can select a campaign, and of course we can include expansions if we like to. So, for example, I think we'll just throw some in here. Maybe the Dung Beetle, Flower Knight, Slender Man, maybe the Manhunter. I don't know what these are exactly. Sunstalker. Dragon King. That sounds kind of scary, doesn't it? Lion Knight. I got too many knights. And that's good. Let's do that. We'll get it kind of mixed up. The People's Lantern, I think, is the core one. Begin campaign. So that will rework our decks a little bit here, so that we have more abilities and so on. So, but it still kept our people. Oh, it did not. Whoopsie. Well, that's okay. We can sort that out here in a little bit. But let's see, to get those things back out of the deck here. Let me fix everything that got taken away, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just fixed everything. You should do that at the very start. But yeah, so now our timeline looks a little bit different. We've got some other events that are coming in here that we will be doing as time comes. Okay, so Obsidian Tower is our settlement name. We can hunt the White Lion. And now we're going to move back to our settlement here. All right, so as we're moving down the lines here, we did update the timeline. We have no deaths. Checking milestones. We don't have any milestones that are coming up. We did the event here and our milestones. New life, death, society. We don't have any of these fulfilled yet. So we will move on to the development stage. So here's our language. We got a +1 survival limit, which is what we've already got. And we can, all survivors gain the encourage survival action. So we can encourage once per round. So we need to make sure that everybody has the encourage token. And encourage allows them to tell someone else to stand up. And encourage somebody when they get knocked down to stand up. Don't lay on your back and die. All right, so the next thing is we want to innovate, or we can build. Here we spend an endeavor and build the very basic things that start off our campaign here. The bonesmith, the skinnery, and the organ grinder. So we're going to spend those 3 and bring out our cards here. And I'll get those set up. Okay, and it spawns the cards as soon as I drop them in, you can see. And as we look at each of these, we can see that you can build your armor, and if you get a whole set there, you actually have a set bonus. And this allows us to build a leatherworker as well. The bonesmith gives us weapons and allows us to build the weapon crafter, and the organ grinder allows us to build the stone circle, and also do augury. And then the augury, you spend 1 endeavor and you can roll a d10, and you can either gain an understanding, lose a resource, gain a survival, or have the intimacy event, which is very useful for keeping your settlement alive. So let's go ahead and put these out so that we can take a look at what is in each of them. I usually just drop them in the settlement location under it, and they do snap to the center of there sometimes, so you have to kind of fidget with it. But you can tab to blow them up if you like, and mouse wheel to make them bigger and bigger. And then we can see what they all are. Now, I know the Rawhide Whip is supposed to have a blue mark at the top there. That is an affinity. If you connect those, you can see here the Rawhide. Let's see if I do this a little differently. Here, the Rawhide headband. If I put that on the gear grid there, and the gloves, and you can see I get a blue affinity and a red one. And also these are puzzle pieces, so if I connect them, I get this +1 evasion. So that's a pretty nice little set to have, and the evasion makes it harder to be hit. And each one of these will add some armor to the location 1 hit point. Okay, let me put the rest of these out so we can take a look at them. Okay, so here's our cards. I got them underneath each one, so it may be a little messy. You can see what it takes to build them, and you can see what it has here. All right, we have 1 endeavor left, which we could use for innovation. We do have love juice. So that is something I'm going to do right now. I'm going to spend the love juice right there. Get rid of that. And what that does is allows us to pick 2 of our population. So we're going to pick Hope and Andros, male and female here, because they're both pretty useless at anything else, so we might as well let them have kids. So they're going to have an intimate event. They had a pretty tough time. He's broken, she's scared, and they huddle together in the darkness near the lantern and have a special moment together. And we're going to roll that here. But before we do, we may get a good innovation. So that is going to come up here. Before we do that, I'm going to save this skull and take a look. I'm going to save sinew as well. And I'm probably going to save a cat bone. I would like to save this pelt, but I could probably spend these right here. Put the other cat bone over here. So here we have an organ, a bone, and a random. So we're going to take these 3, and organ, bone, and random. And if you look down here, we can innovate, hide, organ, bone, and endeavor. So we got our endeavor token right here, and we can just delete all those. Now we can shuffle our innovation deck. We have 6 cards in it. We draw 2, and we pick the one we want. Hovel and Paint. Now Hovel gives us a +1 survival limit, which is good, and a +1 survival for all departing survivals, and we get all the Hovel innovations. Paint gives us the ability to dash, which we can use just like dodge, but it gives us the ability to dash spending our survival. I think we need to start off with survival, so I'm going to go ahead and put the paint back for now and innovate Hovel. Now Hovel also helps with intimacy. Now with Hovel, we build more of our deck here, so we need to add the Hovel consequences. Here's our innovation, and we're going to do Hovel. And these are all the Hovel innovations that we're adding in. So you can see at the top there it says Hovel consequence. We need to add all of these into our deck. There's quite a few of them. So now there's 6 of them we're adding into our deck of now 5. So now we have 11 cards in our science deck there, innovation deck. Now our survival limit went up 1, and our departing survivals go up as well. So we'll now get a departing survival of +1 survival if we depart. So we have 2 limit, and we get a +1. I'm going to save these for a little bit later here. And let's roll down here for intimacy. So now with intimacy, we do have the Hovel. So if we roll a 10, we will be getting a special child. But that's about it. The Hovel doesn't do anything else for us there other than give us some new cards and the badly needed survival limit. So let's go ahead and roll one of these dice. D10. Roll a 9. That's good. The settlement celebrates a twice fortunate event. A pair of healthy newborn survivors enters the world. The settlement gains +2 population. Very good. So we'll add 2 new survivors. And if you want, you can actually say they're somebody's children and so on. And I've done that before. But we're just going to let them blend in to the group right now. Because people don't really have that society of, you know, hey, we're related and stuff like that. So we're just going to assume that the DNA pool is too small and people are doing the best they can until they actually start to realize they've got last names, because you can give them surnames. Then they might start to think twice about doing stuff like that. But for now, we're going to have another male and another female. They're twins, but boy and girl. Congratulations to our new couple. So on our timeline here, we have our first birth. Yay! So we get the principle of new life. So here we can raise them in 2 different ways. The first way is with affection, and the other way is without mercy. And you can see the picture here. We're letting them choose between the ball and the axe. So, survival of the fittest. It makes it harder to have children because as you roll on the board, you roll twice and take the lower of the 2, and of course lower is worse. With affection is the opposite. You raise them well, you nurture them, you roll, and you take the higher of the 2. Now, the good thing about the survival of the fittest is it gives everybody some huge survival benefit. Whereas affection makes sure that you have children and raises them with better understanding as well. So, without mercy or with affection, it's a hard choice to start off. I like kids. I think we need kids to survive. This is a terrible place. We're going to go ahead and raise them with affection because we love our kids, right? We're going to protect the young. It's not an innovation, it's just a principle. So now we're rolling on the intimacy story event. We now roll twice and pick one result. Also, we have a first time event here. The settlement embraces the child with warm arms. Nurturing new life is the highest calling. The settlement gains the new life principle, protect the young. Add that and then roll a d10. So we're going to bring our die, copy it, and bring it up here. And we're going to roll this. And we rolled a 4. So the parents each gain a +1 permanent evasion and 2 survival. So that's kind of useless for our parents because, first of all, Andros is not really going out. Although he could now maybe tank if we give him a weapon. So he's not horribly disfigured. But Hope, she doesn't need the evasion. And the survival will max them out to 2. So there is that. Alright, so we have kids now, which is good. And we still have some stuff left over. We got a skull. And here we can actually use the single skull and build a skull helm. The skull helm is pretty good. It has 3 armor, protects the head, but if you suffer a severe head injury, the skull is destroyed. So we're going to go ahead and create that and drop our skull off. The next thing is we have bones. We have great cat bones and sinew, and the sinew can make a bow later with a bone. It doesn't have to be great cat bones, but we would like a better weapon. So we could do bone blade here or a bone dagger. We cannot build the bone axe, unfortunately. We don't have ammonia, so we can't build a whip, which is unfortunate. The bone blade is just slightly better than the bone dagger as far as wound goes, but the bone dagger rolls more dice, 3 dice instead of just 1 or 2. And also on a perfect hit, you gain your survival back, which is always nice. We could also do darts, and the darts here, you could throw 1 dart and it wounds on a 7. Of course, these are all frail, so if you hit a super dense location, they break. But against the lion, there's not much in the way of super dense. So the accuracy is better on the bone blade than on the founding stone. And the wound chance is better on the bone blade as well. So I think we've got 2 bones. We're going to go ahead and build a dagger, I think. And we're going to build a bone blade, since that's a little bit better. And this is our gear setup right now. So we'll drag these down here and just spread them out. Now if we let's say a bone blade for this guy right here, and the dagger for this one, doesn't really matter. Brick is a bit on this. This isn't his first rodeo. All right, we have no more endeavors. We really have nothing else we can do. We're saving the sinew. We're saving the fur. There's really not a whole lot more we can do here. So we've had a good round up to this point. So now we have to decide what we're going to do. Of course, we're going to hunt the lion. We're going to bring some new population here. Let's spawn. Let's take the new kids. Just for fun. Oh, already got that one. Brother and sister side by side there. We also got the helmet, which we're going to give to Brick here because he's a little bit more valuable just because he has a single hunt XP. That's all. And he's probably going to get in the way a little bit more with the dagger. He's probably going to get attacked a little bit more, so we'll give him the headpiece there. And we need one more person. We'll take another founder here, one of the people that we founded the colony with. This guy right here. We'll take him. And we're going to need to give them names, so let me do that. Okay. I named our new guy here Phalor, and then the two twins Yin and Yang. Why not? All right, Yin and Yang. We just need some minis here. We'll give this survivor here. Just drop them on there, and that's Yin now. And then Yang, I'm gonna grab another mini. Yang and Phalor. Yeah. Well. Let's see. Yeah, Phalor could just grab any mini here and be green. Okay. And these are our departing survivors, and now that they are departing, we're going to give them all a +1 to their survival, since that is part of the settlement bonus, a +1 as well. Let's see, nothing else here. We do have encourage, so we've got all that set up, and we're good to go. So then we have to just clean up the showdown here, clean it up, and clean up the hunt, and then we have to hunt. So we're going to hunt a white lion, level 1, and then begin hunt. Now this is the hunt stage, which we're going to do in the next video. On this one, we will move along this track, flipping cards and resolving whatever's under it, until our minis here each time will resolve until they finally get to the lion, and then they immediately start the showdown. And the showdown was where we fought the prologue there. All right, and that is the introduction to Kingdom Death Monster. Again, this is a great board game if you like this genre, a little bit horror, a little bit scary, and survival co-op. And if you grab 4 players, it's really fun. It's really a great game. I highly recommend it. However, it is going to cost you a pretty penny to do it. So you might want to watch some videos on YouTube, including mine. Thanks, like, subscribe. I will release these a little bit slower than my other content, but I will put them out occasionally. So please follow along over time. But you can also watch some of the actual board game and see how great the quality of it is, the minis are, how great it looks, and then see if it's something you'd like to have on your shelf. The one thing to mention is the artwork is a little bit mature. There are some images of some violence and horror and a little bit of nudity as well. So that is something to consider, especially if you have young kids or people that you might not like to have see that in your apartment or your house, wherever you live. However, it is a great game, and it is something that you might enjoy very thoroughly over a long period of time. I think you can get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And because the decks change every time, the monster deck is recreated every time we draw. If I show you the showdown here with our white lion that is coming up, we have the showdown of the white lion. Whoops, we got a die in the way here. Try that again. This automatically shows us the new type of battle. We have terrain features that are going to be placed, and we're going to have to organize that, so the terrain will change each time. The AI monster deck here says that we're going to build it using different cards from the advanced and the basic, so those will be different every time. So every time we fight this lion, he's going to be a little bit different as far as his abilities go. Sometimes he may have a terrible ability that just destroys you, and you can't deal with it. And other times, you may just be able to steamroll him because he doesn't have anything good, or the combos that he comes up with are terrible. So this is a great variation, and it does have a lot of replayability to it. All right, thanks for joining for the episode 1, the introduction. Hopefully I'll be able to make a new episode sometime in the near future and upload that. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and comment in the comment section. And if you do comment, I'll try to make you one of the survivors so that you can come along for the ride. I don't make any promises. This trauma deck is pretty horrible. And hopefully if you die well, or you retire to the settlement, and hopefully the settlement survives, and then you could just live there like Hope forever. All right, thanks for joining. Have a great day. I hope to see you in the next episode. Take care.